Hi, it's Chris again with Forextherapy, where the Forex market intersects with philanthropy. I hope you're having a good Friday today. Pardon the pun. I have to have humor during this time. Um, but welcome back. It's the end of a week. It's a short day in the market. In the West Coast of the United States, it will close around 2 p.m., which um, is end of the week for trading. So we can have at least one day and a half, Saturday and part of Sunday, to have a weekend with the market reopening on around 2 o'clock on Sunday, again, in California time. So you at least get a day and a half of rest, although when you're earning profits, who wants to stop? But we have to rest once in a while and do laundry and do all those things. So again, welcome back. Um, let's move forward without further ado. Here is our current diet for April, and we are on pace uh, for 2,200 today, adding another 100 to our trade account, which again, we started with $1,000 back here on a Saturday long ago. And you can kind of see through the X's how it has progressed every day, $100 a day with all the pips that we're gaining. Next week's exciting because we're going to start reaping 200 and then ultimately 3. Um, and if you're following along, I hope you're beginning to see how the patterns are the golden rule. And so let's start with the current market. This is a screenshot of the current market. And for the last, I would say, this was about overnight, looking at the time chart down below. So late yesterday into today, we have this uptrending, what do we want to call this shape? Um, an open-ended wedge. I don't really care, except that if you see the two trend lines, the upper and the lower, you can see how the price has conformed within it, and that's what matters most. So whether it's perfect parallelogram or this more open-ended wedge with whatever, I don't really stand on ceremony on what they're called, um, but you can see how the price has held within the drawn trend line and here. So if you've been following along from the beginning, you can see at the bottom of the screen, which I won't move the cursor now because that toolbar keeps popping up. You'll see point number 1, the beginning of the trend, 2, and 3 up here. Again, we were looking for 3 touches to the trend line before ultimate breakout. So as it approached for number 4, it didn't, it broke through. I've talked before about how cleanly or sloppy these touches are. I'm looking at number 2 below. I don't consider that a solid touch. It is because the wick is touching it, not the candle itself. The thickest part of the bar is the candle, the body of the candle. Um, but depending on the time frame that you're looking at the charts, uh, it distorts it a bit. So you have to kind of go to the 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute. The bottom line is when it's touching the line, it's a good chance that is a confirmed touch point. I know that's not really um, clear advice per se, but as you can see, ultimately, it was a 1 and a 2 and a 3, and it broke out. So you kind of have to kind of wiggle with it a bit, be a little interpretive. Um, could look at it as art, if you will. And then before the breakout, we had a clear stall. Um, you had this high point here, and then later you had almost a high point there. That would be what we call a double top. Maybe this is a triple top, but it was hitting the 950 level pretty substantially and was falling below the previous high up here at a price undetermined. So this was the stall that we were looking for before the breakout. So these two elements indicated to me that we were going to have this break. So now where would it go to? So the arrow, the downward arrow here is the measured target. And if I could drag this line, it would be from this point here all the way to the bottom of this trend line, the thickness or the depth of it. Extend that line over here, just grab it and move it and drop it here. And conveniently, coincidentally, it puts it right about where the trend line is below, or as you will see, this is a new trend line below. And toolbar will move, there we go. So where you see the 1, 2 below over here, it's touching a trend line, which is a much larger channel emerging. So when this hits that line, that's a pretty good indicator that that's a good profit target. It's also conforms to the measurement. And we're talking about 15 pips, which as we know is either $150 in a standard lot or $75 in a mini lot. All right, we see this every day, and that's all that matters because there's profit to be made in sameness. So now we were talking about a larger chart or larger time frame, larger channel. So we were just looking at this one. This here is now this here. And so you can see it's embedded within a much larger channel drawn by the more bold trend lines up here and the one below. So now what are we looking for? Well, we see this price movement. We're in profit now because it dropped here and down to here so far. It's heading to this trend line. We already have the initial touch point over here. We have easily a 2 and maybe a 3. So like I've said before, it could be a 3. When it hits this line, that could be the 3. I'm thinking this is the 3 because I'm going to look for another pullback. And we had the double top here, so you know the trend is stalled and you know it's going to continue onward. But it might just, once it hits this line, it may just pull back and stall even again before plunging down. I'm anticipating that. That's what I would be looking for. So that this wouldn't necessarily be the 3, this would be the 3, and then the 4 would be here. This arrow conforms to the depth of this channel, which I just sort of arbitrarily put here because we don't yet know where that breakout's going to be. So assuming it's in this general area, it would extend for 25 pips, $250, down to the what they call the psychologically round number. The market loves just even round numbers. It's just something mystical, I suppose. So to go down to 109 is that would be attractive to traders who are looking for, you know, some level of symmetry, I guess. I don't know what the word is. Just a nice round number. So we were talking about this chart, this channel here. We had one earlier over here. You have a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a breakout. And over here, you can kind of see the waves, 1, 2, 3, hit it down, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's like nature, you know, you've got the smaller within the larger still. So that's this strategy that we trade, and as long as it keeps working, I'm quite happy. So I believe that's all we have for today. As always, please like the Facebook group page at Forextherapy is the address. And of course, if you got any value out of this video, I would love for you to click the like, leave comments, and of course, subscribe if you haven't already. It's a little slow to get started in that regard. That's okay. I don't have a huge marketing campaign. I want this to sort of be organic. I want the success to tell the story and to sell it, and that's really what I'm doing it for. I'm looking forward to the end of April because with that sort of revenue on a daily basis, one certainly has a lot more comfort and discretionary or disposable income at this point. If you're only trading with this $1,000 account we talked about, you have a lot more disposable to fund the cure of this damn disease, or at least the control of it. That seems to be the charity of the moment, I think, for the entire planet, is to uh, address this issue. So that's what we're here. We're going to generate large volumes of money to save the world. How about that? All right, thank you again. I appreciate your attention and time. Hope you have a great weekend. I'll see about being back on Sunday, where the market may be, for sure on Monday. And stay healthy and happy trading.